Yo, yo, welcome back, man. We got another Monday of What's in Your Glass. We got a special guest tonight. My brother, been in the industry, been taking over the industry. Industry icon for over 30 years, I want to say. Over 30 years, JD. That's correct, right? That's over 30 years.
Oh my God.
I got to give you your flowers, man. That we special guest, Hall of Fame songwriter, Grammy Award winning producer, DJ, author, CEO of So Def, and like I said, all around industry icon, man. Welcome to the show. Welcome to What's in Your Glass, JD.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Before we jump into it, I want to let's talk about what you've been up to, man. What you got going on? Where your energy been at? What you working on?
I mean, for the past 3 months, we've been just locked in the studio working on, just constantly working on music. Nowhere else really to go. But finally got this Change record that I released with all these brothers on the record, and we did it with y'all's Social Change Fund. We did this record called Change, basically me, Jonte Austin, Neo, Brian Michael Cox, along with Gary Clark Jr., Common, Kurt Franklin, Big Rube, the Detroit Youth Choir, Rotimi, Eric Bellinger, Wanye Morris, PJ Morton, Anthony Hamilton.
Everybody.
Yeah. We got a long list of, but I'm excited. I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see the reception. People responding to the record. Because I felt like it was on me to do something in this time that we've been going through.
What made you do the song? First of all, explain where you was at mentally and where your mind was at to make you do that song. But also, a lot of people may not understand that process of putting a song like that together, as far as the amount of people that's all on one song.
Well, let me ask the first part of it. I guess the thing that made me want to do the song was just the fact that I felt like it wasn't enough energy coming from the musical community, young musical community, to support this moment in time that we're in. And I kept thinking about how every time I heard somebody talking about this pandemic or the police brutality or whatever it is that was going on, they kept playing old records from a time when I wasn't even born, right? And I'm just like, are we, the musical community, not standing up doing what we're supposed to do? Are we not showing that we care? Or is this not like, is it not as important to us as it was to Marvin Gaye and these other guys that did these records back in the day? So I just wanted to really, that's what really jarred me, because it was important, because it was really like, I'm from Atlanta. Atlanta turned out to start becoming one of the hotbeds of conversation in all of the news. And it just became something that it was like, it was in my face so much. It was like, yo, we got to do something. We got to find a way to speak to what's going on. Not really taking advantage of it, just speaking to what's happening.
So so let's get to the second part of that question. The second question.
Yeah.
Was it? I mean, you are who you are, right? You can, when it comes to that industry, the music industry, you're able to gather the troops and put something special together. Was it difficult during the times that we're in now, or was it easier to get those group of guys together? Because that's a long list.
I mean, it was very difficult for this time period that we're in, because all of the artists had to record themselves. I basically it was a text, actually. I wasn't even on like a Zoom like this when the artist was in the studio. It was like, just like, I'm texting them, praying to God that they get what I'm saying, and telling them like, yo, I just want you to do this part. I don't want you to do the whole song. And I send them the whole song. They like, you sure you want me to do the whole song? And I'm like, nah, I need you to just do this part. And it was crazy. It was kind of hard, and it was it got a little frustrating at times, because it felt like it wasn't gonna happen. Because I never did a record like this before. But it all morphed into what we hear now. But it was a lot of other people that I wanted to be on the song that didn't get an opportunity to be on the song because of COVID and because of the time, and just me, like I said, we take a lot of stuff we take for granted. Like I was taking for granted studio, just that in itself, a studio, just having a studio. So when you start asking people to do something like this for you, and they like, I don't have no studio, you really don't realize like, damn, okay, oh wow, how many people don't have studios, right? How many people still be just going to renting and doing whatever? So there was a lot of things that I was really like, just like came right to my face doing this, but I pulled through it, but it definitely got me a couple of times where I was like, man, I'm not gonna finish this song.
So yeah, facts. So that's a good point that you just said. That you don't really understand the importance of a studio until you don't have it, or you hear somebody like, damn, I don't really have a studio to go in there and lay this. Do you think that's changing? Do you think the way that it is now, the game is going to change because of that? Like recording is going to change, the way people get together and make songs is going to change. Do you think it's going to be more meaningful songs that's going to be made with powerful people?
I'm hoping more people will make more powerful music. You know, I think it's time. I think it's definitely. I think more people have noticed the fact that our generation don't even really have that much music that speaks for anything that we've actually been through. You know what I mean? Like, and even when you say 30 years, even when you say 30 years for me, Public Enemy still is not my. You know what I mean? Like they still older than me. That's still a generation that's still older than me. So it's still like, who's our Public Enemy? Who, you know what I mean? We still ain't tapped into that completely. Some people we got a couple of artists that's hit it here and there, but it still ain't like rocket the world the way Public Enemy, the way Marvin Gaye's What's Going On has. So, you know, like I said in the interview we did before, that I really wanted to just like, when people go back and think about 2020, yeah, it's a bad year for a lot of different things, but something's gonna have to. You're gonna have something that's gonna remind you, something musical, something that's gonna remind you of us and this transformation that we making, and this change that we actually are living in right now. Whether it be good or bad, we still gonna have this song, hopefully, that people heard it and they like, oh, that reminds them of that time period.
Yeah, because we was talking about this the other day on another Zoom.
Yeah.
The importance of the social commentary today, right? With these songs is what's our, you know, I'm black and I'm proud. What's our, you know, let's do it again. Like what's our song? Like what's, you know, the 60s had their songs, you know what I'm saying? Every powerful black song that we had, you can point that to a moment. You know what I'm saying? If you look at 90s, into the 90s, you know, music industry, that was a sound for the 90s. You know what I'm saying? It was songs that represented the 90s. It was songs that represented the 60s. What's representing us now? You know, in these 2000s, 2010s, and even 20.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, it's not a lot of songs, and that's one of the things that was driving me to say you can't stop, Jermaine. Even though, you know, if people don't like the record or whatever it is, my mentality was just like, I have to. It's a purpose for this, you know, and it's a place for it. And I've always been a guy to try to make music and put it in a space that I feel is missing, and that's definitely one of the big spaces in music right now.
So that song Change, and I think, you know, and I hope everybody go out there and listen to it if you haven't. I think we're going to appreciate that song years to come. I don't think we're going to appreciate that song now because there's so much going on. Yes, it's a great message, it's a big message, but I think we're gonna look back years later and be like, damn, like, yo, that song came out during that time. Like when you hear that, when you talk about what's going on now, that's gonna be the backdrop of what's going on. So I want people to appreciate that song now, you know, Change. We know why you made the song. We know why you put the song together, and we also know why, with the voting and everything that's happening with the new president-elect. What's the importance that song plays in that? Because voting, right? You was very integral in voting. You were very, you know, integral in what's happening in Atlanta, right? How do you gather that energy, so to say, and continue pushing forward, so we can get our agenda across?
I think you know, one of the biggest things that you take away from the song is that be the change that you want to see, right? And I feel like that in itself is self-explanatory. Like if you want to change something, you got to become that change, right? And I commend you guys at the NBA and everything that y'all did, because that's what y'all did. Y'all made sure that, like, no matter how people felt about whatever they felt, if they felt uneasy about it, they felt crazy about it, they felt racist or whatever they felt, you made sure that it was in their face to the point where they was like, you got to deal with it, right? And that's that. You know, me being a fan of basketball for so long and watching sports and this, that, and the third, I ain't never seen the NBA look the way the NBA looked, and it was a strong message that you know, I feel like that's the beginning. It's like you as a person within, you have to make a change, and I think that's what this is. It's just like with the voting and the youth, and when they talk about the numbers that Biden, he's the highest. He got the most votes of any presidential elect ever, like in the history of voting. That in itself is a change. That's all. You know what I mean? We don't even have to talk about anything else unless we want to. That in itself is a change that we haven't seen, right? We haven't seen that many people go out and vote for somebody. We haven't seen that many people vote. Even Trump, he got the second largest. You know what I mean? Not Trump. It's not, you know, both of them. It's a change in the guards of how, you know, the presidential debates and the presidential election and all of that is going, and younger people. I heard you saying like younger kids that couldn't even vote wanted to vote, right? You know what I'm saying? Like I remember when I was 12, 13, 14 years old, I ain't cared nothing about the presidential election.
Neither. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, I ain't even, you know, I wasn't watching TV. I don't even know, you know what I mean? That wasn't something that I was paying no attention to. But my daughters, I know everybody else, kids and everybody was focused in. So I feel like that in itself is a change. And that's where I think the record has its most meaning, is that it's just telling you to be the change that you want to be. It's not really about who's the president, who's going to be the president. It don't really talk about that much of the, you know, it's not a preaching record. It's just making sure that you understand all of this starts within yourself.
So speaking on music, I'm hearing through the grapevine that you back in the studio. What's going on? What we working on?
I mean, I'm in the studio. I was in the studio heavy before the COVID thing happened, and I was working on Bow Wow and Omarion, doing a new EP on them, and then Usher, Justin Timberlake, and then Anthony Hamilton recently. Me and Anthony, we've been going, just trying to put, like I said, at the same time, I still feel like it's a lot of music coming out, but it's a lot of music that's just dropping, and it don't really have no place of sitting, right? And I feel like it's time for us to just get this music thing back in this perspective where you paying attention to the music, because there's so much music coming out that it's just here one week, then it's gone the next, and you looking for the next thing, but it still ain't no real sticking albums to me like that. So I'm just trying to do my part, man. You know what I mean? I might not make it. I might make it. Ain't no
You've been here for 30 plus years. You know you're making it. But again, so to that point, record, you laugh, you joke like I might not make it. Do you find it difficult to keep up? I mean, you know, you create your own sound. You have your own sound. You created that for a long time, but the music game is changing, right? The sound of music is changing. Do you find it challenging? Do you find it helpful, or you just sit back and like, all right, I'm gonna continue doing what I do best, and everybody else gonna do what they think?
Nah, it's definitely challenging because, I mean, it's always been challenging for me because I came from here in Atlanta when Atlanta wasn't cool, right? So it was already a test for me. So I'm never afraid to start at one. I think that's what a lot of people are afraid of. They don't understand, like, when you get to the number 10, you start back over at one. No matter if it's 20, 30, 40, 50, it's still one. That's the first one. You know what I mean? Once you get to that number. So for me, it's always challenging. And as the younger talent come out, it makes it even more challenging. But I was always like one of the people that was leading the way as far as the youth and putting out young artists and artists that people were trying to say weren't even real rappers because they were so young, right? We were so young that people was like trying to like keep us from even putting us in the rap conversation because of the youth. So it's a challenge, but it's also me back and forth saying, Jermaine, you gotta make sure you focus on what it is that you've always done, but also pay attention to what these new people is doing. So that's why on this song Change, I got the kid Keydron Bryant. He was big on the internet with the I'm a Black Man song, right? So I saw him and I was just like, we need that energy. I need that energy. He ain't got no album. Well, he didn't have an album when I called him. And then the Detroit Youth Choir, they basically represent all of that young energy that I was looking for. So I put both of them on this song just to put them in the atmosphere around artists that they haven't ever been around, and continue to keep doing what I've always done from the jump.
What do you see? Where you see the music industry going, right? Because we seen a couple shifts in our, in our time, your time, and then in my time, we've seen a couple, and it's constantly shifting, right? Where do you see it going at?
I'm hoping that I see it getting back to true bossism, and I don't even know if that's a word, but
we get it though.
It's a word over here. But yeah, I hope I see people getting back into like really designing their craft, as opposed to talking about it and then not doing that, because I know like one of the questions people always used to ask me was like, Jermaine, if you had a chance to work with anybody, who would that person be? And when I was younger, I never wanted to work with no established artists, because I wanted to build my own company of artists that had never been seen before, right? So my mentality was, I don't care to work with artists that's already established. They already got it. I'm trying to build a platform for artists that you ain't never seen before, and continue to keep doing that over and over again. So I just hope that we get back to that space, because that's what I see a lot of times is missing in the industry. It's not enough new big superstars. It's the same now. It's the same superstars. There's a lot of new artists that come out, but they don't actually jump up to that superstar level like the rest of them. It might take them a longer time, and I think that's just because people got to focus more on the artistry,
which keeps you on your toes though, right? It keeps you, but that keeps you sharp though. That keeps us sharp. You know what I'm saying? We see that new generation coming. That's in any genre though, right? In the industry, when you see that, you got to you got to stay on your toes. You got to stay on point. So I think that's what makes you who you are, and you great, and you continue to succeed, and you continue to be stay relevant in these different age ranges. And like you said, you started putting in unknown artists on it, and going to get the younger generation involved and investing in the younger generation. So that you will always be the pioneer for that, and that's established already. Let's talk about your book. I mean, not your book. I'm sorry, the documentary. Pardon me.
Oh yeah, the doc.
Let's talk. Let's get into that.
What part of it?
No, let's talk, because it's the remarkable the rise of So Def, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we all know we all think we know what So Def is. Now we're gonna get it from the horse's mouth right now.
I mean, the way I did that, the remarkable rise of So Def, it was really more or less about me going into the Songwriters Hall of Fame and wanting to make sure that people understood why I was inducted, right? Because I saw a lot of, the first person from hip hop to be inducted was Hove, right? And then I became the second person to get inducted, and I've seen a lot of hip hop critics and this, that, and the third, like how Jermaine Dupri get inducted before this person, to get inducted before that person. So it was like me basically wanting to make sure I let people know, like, I'm a songwriter. Like, don't get it twisted. You might hear producer, but all of them songs that you heard produced, I wrote these songs. So that's what I wanted to do in this documentary. I wanted people to really understand my writing, understand my process of getting to the songs that I write. And a lot of these songs, people tell me all the time, like, I was in a pool one night in Mexico, and these girls was in the pool, and I was swimming in the pool, and they was playing "You Got It Bad" in the loudspeaker, and the girls were singing the song, and they was just like, man, this song is incredible. And it was like, wow, for me to just be like, I'm in the pool with y'all. Y'all don't realize, like, I wrote this song. Like, but you can't say that. You can't. I wanted to say it, but you can't say it. They knew who I was, but they didn't identify me with writing that song. Right. So I felt like it was important for me to do that, to make sure people, still to this day, it's still people that's on that page, but that's what I felt like the documentary was doing for me.
Facts. And in every industry, we all have that pinnacle of our industry, right? It's the Hall of Fame for everybody. You know what I'm saying? We talking that status. Is that the pinnacle in music? Because in sports, we know that that's the pinnacle, right? We know making to the Hall of Fame, being inducted into the Hall of Fame, that's the pinnacle in sports. Is that this? What is equivalent to that in music? Is it the Songwriting Hall of Fame?
Nah, I wouldn't say it's a Songwriters Hall of Fame, because like I said, once again, me and Hov was the first two, and that only happened in the last 3-4 years, right? So I think our peers haven't even been looking at that yet as a thing, because it wasn't. You had to be writing songs for 20 years to even get accepted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. So a lot of these artists ain't even made it that far, right?
Oh, indeed, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think the Grammy, Grammys, having a Grammy, being able to have a Grammy award in your hand, having it at your house, having multiple Grammy awards, I feel like that's the pinnacle, because at that point, whenever you're introduced, they got to put that in the front of your name, right? No matter how, no matter where you have gone in life, if you ain't making music the way you used to be, if you still ain't as hot as you was, they still got to say Grammy Award winning. And that Grammy Award winning will snap whoever that's trying to play you. It'll snap their chest and play. Oh, wait a minute. You know what I mean? So it's still, that's one of the most, I think, exciting achievements that anybody musically that they could ever get.
So the Grammy make you poke your chest out.
Yeah, make you, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, because it's a lot of, it's like, it's Grammy nominated, right? Because one day I seen a lot of people were saying, man, I'm Grammy nominated. And I'm like, Grammy nominated? Like, what do that mean? I was asking somebody, like, do that then, and that in itself it means a lot to people, just being nominated for a Grammy.
Absolutely.
So when they say Grammy Award winning, blah blah blah, that's when it's like, oh, okay, all right. You know what I mean? It just puts you in that upper echelon. You know what I mean? You're supposed to have a big old tall glass of wine like this.
Indeed. What you drinking over there? Matter of fact,
I'm on that. I'm on something light. I'm on a little Santa Margarita today. It ain't no,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I had some light on a Monday.
Huh?
Light.
I'm in here, but I don't want to get drunk or nothing. You know what I mean? Just something light.
Something light. Stay mellow at all times. What? Damn, I was about to ask you something, man. Your creativity at the end of the day, right? Your creativity, how you create. Is that a reference of where you come from, growing up in Atlanta? Like, did Atlanta give you that creativity, that style, to be able to go out there and showcase that to the rest of the world? What is it about your creativity? Is it Atlanta? Like, is Atlanta, the culture of Atlanta? Did that give you that energy?
It's the Atlanta not being cool gave me my creativity, because
so chip on your shoulder, you would say.
No, not a chip on my shoulder. More or less about challenge, right? Because like,
got it.
When I was saying this the other day, was on the thing. When I made "Welcome to Atlanta," I made that song because I felt like my city wasn't getting the recognition that I felt like it should have gotten as a city. I felt like all Black people came to Atlanta and wanted to stay here. They never wanted to leave. People came to Atlanta and partied. They partied their eyes out. And it was like they had the best time of their life. And people would come here and be like, how the black dollar, how much the black dollar gets you in this city. If you get a little money in Atlanta, you can live like a king in this city, right? And people from other cities was coming here, and they was seeing this, right? But I don't think that at the time, I felt like the rest of the world wasn't acknowledging this. It was just like Atlanta still was being treated as you know, the biggest city in the South, and the South not being the hotbed that it is today. So before that, you got to think, before I made Welcome to Atlanta, before Crisscross came out, it wasn't really Atlanta. It was a tough city to come from. It was like you saying you're gonna put out rap music coming from Atlanta was like the most unheard of thing in the world. And you know, the rap gods weren't opening the doors the way they are now to other cities. You know had St. Louis pop, you know had Detroit pop, you know had all these other places pop. But before that, it was only New York and LA. So, you know, when you gotta try to figure out your way into that box, you got to become creative. You got to come up with a lot of creative ways to make sure people pay attention to you. You got to come up with creative ways to make a person even just have a conversation with you. Not even like, you know what I mean? Before you get to the showing them your creativity, you got to figure out how to get somebody to pay attention to you. And because initially everything I got was, man, you from Atlanta? Ain't no rappers in Atlanta. Y'all country as hell, blah, blah, blah. That was the initial conversation. It was like, and you get used to that. You get used to being like, damn, they think we country. Damn, you know, ain't no rappers from out here. What we gonna do, right? And as opposed to like sitting around and pouting about it and feeling left out like that, you got to come up with some kind of energy. You got to come up with a way to move your product, I guess, basically. And that's what it is. So every time that I was put out a project, it was still challenged with the same thing. And I kept hearing the same mentality or the same comments from people. And I would just try to figure out ways to, another way to be creative. Once I got my foot in the door, I felt like that was the thing. I had to continue to keep being creative.
When we get our the new Welcome to Atlanta, when we get that, what's
you know what's crazy is we did a new Welcome to Atlanta with Young Thug, with the Migos. We did it, but you know the thing about it is that when I did that, the Migos hadn't popped yet. Young Thug won who Young Thug is today, right? And it's crazy because Murder Beats did the record. It was like all the new cats that everybody see right now. We did a Welcome to Atlanta. Murder Beats redid Welcome to Atlanta beat. I'm talking on it. It's on YouTube. You know, it's unfortunate, like I said, because that's how Atlanta is, and that's what people don't understand. Like Atlanta's always been a city where, you know, it's creative. It's a lot of creativity in the city, but the eyes ain't always been on the city, and it's been like that since even like now, since the growth of the Migos and everybody. Like I said, when people ask me that, when you gonna do a new Welcome to Atlanta, and I say, yo, we did it. People like, damn, I never heard it, and it was because it was like, I think it was like almost 4 months before Bad and Bougie came out. You know what I'm saying? And then once Bad and Bougie came out, boom, it was like, you know what I'm saying? But before that, the Migos, they was having a tough time as well too.
Before I let you go, because I know it's Monday, you want probably want some chill shit.
Nah, I'm good.
Nah, before I let you go, man, what I usually do. First of all, shout out to the A, because y'all been holding it down. I'll take my hat off to y'all, man. On the political side, you know, the music industry, all the artists that's coming out of Atlanta, y'all they holding it down right now. So I'll take my hat off to them. Shout out to the A. Close up though, man. Mask up. I'm gonna tell the A that right now. Mask up, please. Mask up down there,
please.
Before we get out of here, man, I usually get a floor to the guests, man. Just give some words of encouragement to everybody, especially to my viewers that's out there looking, and yours, whoever tapped in. So
yeah,
you got the floor.
What you want me to say? What you said now?
We just needed some, you know, they want some encouragement. They want some encouragement from somebody who's been in the game for over 30 years, who's been an influence over 30 years.
Yeah, as far as encouragement goes, I would tell you, like, you know, make benchmarks with yourself, right? You know what I mean? Make benchmarks with yourself that only matter to you, right? Like you have, if it's a place that you want to go and it's a field that you want to go into, grab a benchmark in that field and make multiple benchmarks and just knock those down. Just that. Don't ever pay attention to like the noise on the outside, because you're gonna hear the noise. That's gonna be there. The noise is gonna be there. Don't let where you come from discourage you, because that's going to be a problem too. You just make sure you make these benchmarks, like you find role models, or you find people that you don't got to know them, by the way. You know, I mean, you know, I thought Barry Gordy was my role model. I didn't know him. Quincy Jones was my role model. I didn't know these people, right? But they mentored me from afar because I was paying so much attention to them, and I would take something that they did, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna do this once I get in the music business. And it was like, that's what I was chasing, and that's what I've been chasing to this day. Is I still keep chasing things that I have as these benchmarks, and my benchmarks are way out there. Like the things Barry Gordy did with Motown and how he did it and everything like that. It's so far. It still don't even look like it's in reach of me. You know what I mean? Then that's the things that keep me going. So my words of encouragement was just like, you know, make benchmarks, find these mentors that you really look up to, and actually use them as if we are in COVID and you can't speak to them, but you can see and hear what they're saying and watch. Because I mean, I heard a lot of, like, over like almost 10 years ago, I used to hear a lot of young people saying, I don't look up to nobody. I look up to myself. And I feel like that's the wildest comment ever, because, you know, somebody sparked your appetite to do whatever it is that you do. And to not acknowledge that is going in the wrong direction.
There you have it, man. My brother, I appreciate you, champ.
Yes,
always
sir.
Love. I'll see you soon. I'm sure I'll see you soon, man. Stay safe.
Yeah,
Tell
yeah.
the fam I said what up, man.
Come on to Atlanta. Put your mask on. Come on to
I might have to double up in Atlanta, man.
Word up. Word up.
Nah, that's love, man. Cheers, big homie.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Love, man. Peace.